first or second wave T1?
I think it was first.
It must have been first if you're taking Yumi and then Misfortune.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you probably would have picked up Ezreal themselves, because Teddy is a very good Ezreal player, but so is Deft. That's the problem here. They're both very good players.
Yes.
Right. Are we ready to go? Do you want to just... I'm going to turn off my mic. It's my fan, so you can't hear it if you can. I don't know.
I couldn't hear it.
Oh, fuck. I just pressed my button. There we go.
Your button?
I have a button on my Stream Deck, which plays music. It plays Flash Funk, which you might know. I don't know.
I don't, but it sounds fun.
But yeah. Right. Should we just go?
Yeah, sure.
If it's going to actually play. Oh, wait, no, I need to click on... Don't know. Make sure you have it muted. And yeah. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the LCK as we do have match 2 of the summer split here for you as we have game 1 between Dragon X and T1. This is certainly going to be a cracker.
Yeah, this is a rematch of the spring split finals. T1 taking out with a 3-1 victory over Dragon X. Dragon X looking to avenge themselves coming into this. Has been noted T1's form at the start of splits not necessarily been the most optimal, so this should be the best chance Dragon have to avenge themselves.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And, I mean, I'm really excited to see this because purely we've got roooc, well-known player on solo queue, bringing out this Nidalee, trying to get aggressive and really show us his fantastic pathing to start off and take down T1.
Yeah, Nidalee's sort of been this sort of option that's come up in this summer meta, where instead of taking the Elise, which is sort of that other AP-heavy early game gank machine, you now have something that can scale more in fights is more useful because you can hang back, throw out your spears, and be useful in these fights. Going up against the Trundle, not necessarily the easiest thing to fight into because Trundle is very happy to take these sort of brawls, but if you can maintain pressure on these lanes, get them ahead, especially this bot lane with that Misfortune backed up by the Yumi, it could be a very impactful in these team fights when they come. Yeah,
Trundle, while often picked as a counter pick into some more tanky picks, is very strong early, as you say, and you definitely can't sniff at that one. Even as a Nidalee who has a lot of that power early, you have to be wary of him.
So we need to see how these jungles sync up with each other. I'm looking to see... Yeah, it's going to... At least I assume it would be the blue start for the Nidalee, then roam down, try and get that early pressure into the bot lane. You can try and play through the top, but it's only an Ornn into an Aatrox. While the kill potential is there, it's unlikely, and funneling gold into an Ornn is not the greatest thing to be doing, because Ornn isn't going to be your damage output for the game. He just wants levels so he can buff up this Misfortune, because that's really the thing you have to play around. Orianna versus Twisted Fate in the mid lane is going to be uninteresting until the jungle show up, until Twisted Fate hits 6, at which point he's probably going to be looking to sync up with that Nidalee, try and put pressure, presumably stop this Fortune from popping off, and try and funnel gold into their Aphelios.
Absolutely will, and I'm very excited to see Chovry on this because he has been fantastic at roaming over the years. Mind throws back to things like his Taliyah, which was ever so aggressive, and bringing out this TF, and we've seen a little bit on the world stage, but not too much, so definitely going to be interesting to see how effective it is, especially when Faker on this Orianna is also one hell of a threat.
I'm just a little cautious here. It looks like we might be seeing a step forward from the blue side. DRX looking to maybe try and get an invade.
Yeah, but that ward is already there, and Deft will have to back on off. As you said, roooc starting on this top side on the Nidalee.
Yes. So it will be that Conqueror, as well as the Domination Tree, just to get the Ravenous, and to get such a powerful rune, just for the sheer amount of life gain it gives you. So again, we'll be looking to take 3 camp into gank bot, try and shut down this Misfortune early.
Did it well. It looks like we're going to be doing Gromp as well and then heading straight on over. But Nidalee can also change things around, and so can Carrier as that exhaust just comes out right away, looking to get aggressive onto Teddy, but right on back, and it looks like they're the ones worse for wear after this initial fight.
It's fine if you're Dragon, though. In this bot lane, you want to get as many of the summoners off of Teddy and Effort as you can, so that when the ganks do come through, either be it from the Nidalee or Chovy on this Twisted Fate, you can capitalize and turn those ganks into kills.
You can, and I mean, certainly Nautilus very good at that gank assist, and I mean, Deft has been fantastic at making use of this Aphelios and his damage output. Here we see roooc doing those Raptors very easy and good for the Nidalee to try and do this one, as it's actually just so quick that you can still look for a 4-camp gank in a pretty solid timing anyway.
Yes. So we see here Dragon building up a bit of a wave, looking to probably splash this, bring the wave back to themselves on a slow push, and that's when they'll look forward to the gank. You see, however, the Trundle currently on his blue, maybe looking to try and get the counter gank for himself. Need to see how this one plays out. It looks like we might be setting up for a dive.
Piosik already moving into position. However, as you said, Cuz waiting just behind. He's level 3 and he's healing himself on up, but it looks like that wave is going to bounce first, as Piosik doesn't really want to mess around too much. As Chovy already on a little bit of a roam, but 4-6 here. As we do have Cuz looking to wait in the wings. As Piosik is, as you say, setting up for this dive. The spear is just waiting to come on in. Finally shows himself, and here it will come. It misses, and that might be an opportunity to move on back. But Kyria still continuing to move on up, as Piosik does take a bit of damage as they move on out. And a nice counter gank from Cuz to really stop any of that happening. But there's the dredge line, and Teddy almost goes down for it.
Almost falls to pieces for T1. They played that initial engage so perfectly. Had Cuz waiting in the wings because they knew exactly what was going to happen from the get-go. They had the Trundle waiting set up for the counter gank. As soon as they see Chovy leave the lane, they know it's going to be set up so they can play from their turret. Teddy not quite respecting the dredge line coming through from the Nautilus, but aside from that, they managed to dissuade the gank, take up a lot of Chovy's time, and that has allowed Get Faker his early base off. Gets a tome, gets a mana crystal as well, and he'll be able to get some advantage into this mid lane.
Yeah, he should be able to push that quite well. Has that spellbook up for when he uses that TP. Expect to see a lot of, as you said before, kind of action in this bot lane with 4 TPs on the map. Very much looking to get aggressive, and also, obviously, aggressive junglers on both sides and a TF.
Yes. So going to that mid lane, Faker with CS advantage right now just because Chovy's had to take his base, has managed to get boots and Dark Seal. I believe Fates these days go for the Rod of Ages as opposed to going for something like an on-hit build. Just get that AP up, just to have that more consistent burst damage available.
No, absolutely.
It's kind of just a dead lane, unfortunately. It's Aatrox versus all. Not much is going to happen here without jungle intervention. They might trade poke, but I don't think anyone's going to die.
No, it's very unlikely unless we do see some of that aggression. I mean, Cuz definitely can get onto Doran and they can lock him down, but this shouldn't be all too much.
So now it's just a question of when do we see the jungles come back into game. You see the Trundle currently doing the Krugs. Could maybe look towards a cross to gank the Aatrox, who's looking to maybe push it a bit far forward. But I don't know if he's going to be in gank range, because again, it is that Aatrox. He is insanely tanky, and they don't have any Grievous Wounds to really cut his healing.
The thing is, he does have Predator as well, and that's something to keep in mind. Obviously, over the last patch, got a lot stronger, and a lot of junglers choosing to really abuse it. Trundle is definitely one of those, because in the early game especially, he already has that damage.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you have it more available to you, you can actually afford to just use it to poke, see if you can get that gank off. If it doesn't, fair enough, you haven't invested too much in the gank, you can just return back to your farming patterns. And obviously, if it succeeds, that's a kill in the bank, and you just ride those off. So now Dragon's up. Looks like no real vision has been put on by either side. Looks like T1 might be coming to the river now.
But Piosik is very much ready and waiting to try and counter this, and Chovy doesn't have too much mana. Keep an eye on that. Actually, as I say that, he manages to hit a blue card and goes right back on up. Has that ultimate ready, very happy to use that Destiny to try and respond to the plays that T1 are looking to make on the spot side.
Piosik is ready to catch this though, so might look to see the hard engage from Cuz here, but I don't know if it goes too well for him.
Yeah, well, Teddy still trying to step back and forth as they're trying to hide the fact that Cuz is here so they can go something. Nice of Cuz to actually step back and not get spotted out by their ward early on here. Finally, he will be able to remove it.
This is a lot of time being invested by Cuz right now as we finally do see the engage.
DB do. Piosik coming on in. The teleport. There is the Destiny. Everyone investing. Absolutely pops the MF there with a brilliant spear. Faker likely to go down as well. Unfortunately, misses that ultimate on the Ariana. And as a result, DragonX pick up 2 kills early on to put themselves ahead.
That's the advantage of having the Twisted Fate over any other mid laner. The Destiny just comes in so much quicker from the teleport as Faker is channeling it to try and get into the fight. Teddy's already gone, and from that point, he's just teleporting into the entire side of DragonX, and there's not much he can do at that point. So now that's going to be Dragon conceded to DragonX, ironically enough. They're about to get a reset. That's going to be a BF sword pickup by the Aphelios, as well as his pickaxe. So he's already going well on his way to picking up that Infinity Edge, and he's going to just completely blow out the Misfortune at this point. He's 20 CS up. That's incredible.
I mean, part of that is because there was a huge wave when they were looking to fight. Also, the fact that MF struggling to have the same lane pressure when you do have things like the U. Here we're going to see a replay come on in, and you can see the moment Carrier steps up, gets that root, and as soon as things start to go a little bit south, we see the TP and the Destiny come in right away. Absolutely bursts Teddy, and Faker is just too far forward. That TP was a little bit overzealous, and they just finish him off over a matter of time.
Again, the TP is fine if he's matching into a TP. Unfortunately, he's matching into the Destiny. We see here, from the TF's perspective, the fight comes in, the roots come through, again, just comes in, gold card, bap, kill the ADC, and from there, the fight is already won. All they need to do is just make sure they get the Orion Iron as well.
They do. He also forces the flash out of that trundle, and that's going to be important in the amount of pressure this trundle can continue to have early, because he doesn't have these summoner spells up.
Yeah, the being melee as a jungler is kind of a disadvantage. Hello.
We do see a fight coming down here as they try to lock down Teddy, but there we see the flash and the cleanse blown. And I mean, sure, you don't get the kill as Dragon X here, but finding those summoner spells is also important.
Oh, because that's the thing. Whenever they come back into lane again, they're suddenly at risk of the Nidalee and the Twisted Fate once again. This lane could very quickly spiral out of control, and the gold advantage is already massive here. As you can see, that's 800k advantage just to this Aphelios, and they can very much snowball out into control.
They can. Piosek looking to get vision on that top side, while Cuz looking to continue to have pressure down towards the bot and keep them in good stead, because he knows that if he stays away for too long and Piosek catches him off guard, things could really go south in this game.
Absolutely. Important thing to know, actually. Oh, wow, they're just going straight for the Rift Herald here. Sosic is going to be able to get this. You see Doran just anchoring, making sure that Canna just doesn't have that free rotation down. Mid laners aren't going to be too invested in this either, so it looks like it's just going to be given over for free.
I mean, this is all down to Piosek spotting Faker Cuz on a ward and going, well, okay, you're down there, I'm Nidalee, I'll just do this. It's absolutely free if the jungler is on the wrong side of the map, and you can kind of track him as he tries to move over as well, because you also knew that Doran had kind of forced him to contest that red buff and then go down to the bot side.
So now it looks like he's just running it straight bot. They want to funnel as much gold into this Aphelios as possible. They didn't go for that sort of traditional sort of 8-minute lane swap that we see sometimes just to get that Rift Herald. So because of this, Deft has been able to stay in this lane, has got a massive CS advantage, now up to 25. Was going to be able to run the Rift Herald down there, presumably, soon, and then just funnel an entire turret's worth of plates into him. He's going to be massive coming into these mid-game team fights.
Absolutely is, and obviously with those Chakram, able to just chew through these turrets, does actually get locked up by the final chapter, and there we see the volley just about managing to make it out with that flash, but Deft under a lot of pressure there. Will continue to be fine, because he has the backup of Carrier, who gives him a little bit of that health, but a bit of a threat from T1, as they do invest a lot into that.
That's the thing, right? Because they're that far behind, they don't quite have the damage to match up, even with an Aphelios. They burn 2 ultimates just to try and chunk him out of lane, and they don't even manage to get that shockwave in mid.
Yeah, but it won't lead to or too much. Faker doesn't have the damage to follow up yet. Doesn't have that Ignite either. Opted for the Cleanse, a more defensive summoner spell from that spellbook. And actually, I think it's very sensible. If Faker goes down here, more pressure towards mid could be a real problem for T1.
It's very easy to see how we get combat out a gold card into a Nidalee spear, and that's basically half of his health gone immediately.
And then they crash the Rift Herald into the tower, and things really go south from there.
Looks like they might be trying to force this issue anyways. Jovi is just shoving this wave, and you can see he had the Nautilus up for support. Has backed off, though, so... I'm still waiting to see where this Rift Herald goes, though, because they haven't managed to hold on for it for 2 minutes now. They need to drop it. They need to... I'm surprised they didn't just drop it bot, actually, because that would have been so much gold landing in the pockets of the Aphelios. They're definitely trying to make a big play out of this of not funneling gold immediately. Keep an eye out for that as we go forwards.
The other thing is we were talking about this kind of slow lane. It's not the end of the world for Canna, but Doran picking up all the CS is actually 30 CS up on an Ornn. An Ornn who doesn't really have to back in the same way. So this is very surprising to see, and really good as well, because last time they met, we were talking about the finals, Canna solo killed Doran 4 times, and everyone had considered Doran to be one of the best top lanes in the league, and that was a real blow to him. He's able to come back here and really put a lot of pressure onto Canna, and show he's not going to give up that title without a fight.
It is sort of a function of the matchup, though. Aatrox is sort of that lane bully into someone who's as passive as the Ornn, where he will outdamage you in these all-in trades. So Canada's just respecting that, not trying to force too hard. It's happy to take a CS deficit because as an Ornn, he doesn't need too much CS. All he needs is levels, so he can get those item upgrades, get onto that misfortune, and be the utility through that, and not necessarily just through raw gold.
Absolutely. Rather than messing up and letting this Aatrox be an absolute monster, playing a lot more passive and more sensibly for the team.
Yes, because like it is that typical Bruiser thing where if he does have this amazing 2-3 kill start, he can just bully an entire team away from objectives and snowball the game out like that. So by playing passive, he's not ensuring his own game, but ensuring that his team does not have to deal with that prospect as well. Oh, hello.
Def to get slowed, but there we see the Predator. We see TPs on the flank as well. But Carrier trying to keep them away for now. The Ornhorn will come on in and almost finish up Def. He will finally fall to Cuz. And these attempts to help these bot laners was not very fruitful. T1 investing at the right time and catching Dragon X off guard.
And you see what happened with Destiny though. I think maybe he just realized he was going to be outnumbered, and Chovy decided now, I think at this point we just have to cut our losses. We'll lose our bot lane, and I'll just continue to try and farm CS mid. Might get the demolish off, and we'll get the play as Faker now just looks to clean the wave.
Indeed he does. Chovy should be able to escape from this one, but Faker still continuing to push him on up. Really looking to try and catch him off guard, but decides probably not for the best.
It was a very long chase sequence though. It doesn't lose too much CS because the wave did crash, but it does force Chovy back. See the replay here. So the Rift Herald comes in. They don't get the turret. It's lost. You see immediately how far forward they are. T1 realized they could just bring all 5 members of the team down and just punish this. The Predators popped. The TPs are popped. Also got the counter TP from, I believe that is the the Aatrox. Tries to salvage the play, but unfortunately his bot lane is already dead.
Yeah, Faker and Cuz were both already rotating down long before that TP came in. You can tell they were calling for it the entire time, and it's just a little bit over-aggressive from Chovy.
Oh.
Carrier does manage to survive.
That's just the power of the Orianna. If you get hit by Shockwave, you're going to lose the majority of your health. So we're going to see control of the river contested as we are just awaiting the next Rift Heralds. So look at that plate gold. Just basically a full 1,000 that T1 just haven't been able to answer to, just from the sheer map control the Nidalee and the Twisted Fate have managed to afford this team in the early game.
And those CS deficits as well, in pretty much every single role apart from mid, have led to the 4k gold lead that Dragon X have.
Yeah, you can see like a majority of that is centered towards that bot lane. That's what, 1.5k.
It's still
there?
1k gold in mid.
Oh yeah, the mid is also like going extremely well. But where you really want it is that bot lane, because you do have that Aphelios, and the Aphelios has been noted to do some incredible things in team fights. And when we get later, when we start fighting around the Soul Point Dragons and the Barons, that's when you really want to have that team fight damage come through.
Yeah, and talking about Soul Point, that is exactly what Dragon X are looking for. In 2 minutes, they'll be putting themselves on Soul Point as they're looking to try and contain this Mountain Drake. That's why you've got Doran pushing in these waves, setting up for these objectives that are going to be coming up very soon. And T1 will have to, in the near future, start doing something about that. Otherwise, they could just lose this game off of that.
Yeah, well, they might be trying to get the kill top.
Indeed they are. Cuz goes on in. Chovy will get the gold card and keep him locked up for a while, but unfortunately the slow is more than enough flashes away. But finally Faker will manage to get that kill. And T1 do at least make a play on the map, and that's pretty solid for them as they're trying to keep DRX away from taking this Drake that's coming up in about 1 minute 30.
Not bad timing either, because that means you do get your resets and you're trying to do an Orianna, you can get some wards, try and come down, set up vision for this dragon, because you really do not want to allow dragon to get X to get onto soul points. It will be the mountain drake, so perhaps not the most key soul in the game, but it's definitely going to be shields you're not going to want to have to deal through when you're already at a damage deficit. They are going to actually try and just force this Rift Herald, however, with the advantage they managed to get in top lane.
Absolutely will. Dragon X. Not even responding at all.
Yeah, but Dragon X don't care, because they have enough of a gold advantage. We say, okay, we'll give you the Rift Herald. It's the second one. It's not going to give you too much gold. We can just set up vision around the dragon and fight you here, because you need to contest us for this.
You absolutely do, especially because Doran's just pushing in this top lane turret as this is happening. Sorry, bot lane turret, tier 2 turret, and is able to continue on this position. Chovy in a bit of an awkward spot right now. And here we have that replay of the kill.
Yeah, it's just a standard kill setup. Pillar into just getting rushed down by 2 members. They trade off flashes, so that's a small victory for Chovy there, and that he does get 2 flashes for his life, but it's a pretty predictable play when you see the initial pillar come up, knocking him towards Faker. So with the map pressure, they managed to gain the mid lane due to the fact that Rift Herald was taken. They've managed to also get the mid T1, and now are going to look to rotate towards the Drake in 15 seconds. Haven't answered this Rift Herald, so we'll actually get a chunk on the T2, but it's not going to fall just yet.
Absolutely. I mean, I really like that Chovy, as soon as they saw that Rift Herald come top lane, actually popped the Destiny and went towards mid. Did not want to mess around, did not want to get caught out if many of the T1 players were looking to try and collapse on him. Instead, just wanted to make sure that their team were live for the Mountain Drake that's coming up now. We see kind of start off with the Ornhorn as he is trying to look for something, but puts it the entirely wrong way as he realizes he's messed up.
I think he thought there was someone behind him, perhaps. Like, that was could have been a very good TP flank from Dragon X if they went for it, so kind of just checking off his options, but unfortunately the ult is now burned as we come into this fight.
It is. Dragon X have the Dragon aggro, so taking a little bit of damage from that, but Pyosik and the gang a little bit further back. The dredge line from Carrier just about misses as Doran starting to move into position. Chovy trying to play these flanks and look for these big gold cards. Do you see the turret going down? It gets a lot of damage as they will be able to knock up Cuz, but the last chapter locks up Carrier for now. Carrier still looking to move on forward as the Dragon is nearing towards that point where the smite fight is going to be oh so relevant. There's a level advantage to Pyosik, and unfortunately, Make It Rain does take down Carrier here. This is a good opportunity for T1 to fight, but they've invested a lot here. They have to be careful. They don't have the Ornhorn, and with that Shockwave missing, it will be the Dragon secured. Sure, they lose their mid laner. Sure, they lose their support, but Dragon X should be able to make it out. In fact, maybe even Doran is looking to fight. Has to flash away. Oh my god, that is 200 years of gameplay design experience right there as Aphelios breaks open T1, and what looked like a good trade, they're trading 2 kills for a Dragon, instantly goes the way of Dragon X.
That was... You keep forgetting. Like, this is the thing. You pump the gold into the Aphelios, so when it comes to it, he can switch guns. Right, initially in this fight, it looks like it to be a fine poke comp. They have the Aphelios turret, just zoning out. Kyria tries to come in to stop the bullet time, but unfortunately hits the wall, goes down. So now there should be a one fight for T1s. They have the man advantage. They can slowly start to poke out Dragon X. Credit to Dragon X, they do main control of the Dragon. They get the smite down, but now they just start getting run by T1 as the objective is now gone. And then while this is happening, Deft is just churning through his ammunition, manages to finally find the Infernum, gets the ult down, and just completely shreds them to pieces. Turns the entire fight on its head. Kudos to him for managing to hold that one up, but it looked so sketchy for a second there.
It certainly did. Carrier managing to just bonk the wall with that dredge line rather than hitting Teddy. Died for it. So a couple of mistakes on Dragon X, but they were able to rectify it in the end off of the back of a Deft. Deft is one hell of an AD carry.
Yep, he has his IE, he has his rune ends, he is on that massive 2-item spike that Aphelios is known for. Other side, it's going to be an Essence Reaver and the BF Sword Crit Cloak for this Misfortune, so looking towards that IE of our own, and we'll get there sooner rather than later with the farm backup of this Yuumi. But right now, it looks like vision control around this Baron is going to be the name of the game for both teams. It looks like they've sent their top laners towards the bot side of the map. Both have TP, so if fight does break out, expect them to join in. And I'm just looking at the state. Chovy does have his ult and his TP available to it as well off that spell, but Faker's stuck on Cleanse for now.
Keep in mind that Dragon X don't want to take this Baron right now. They don't even want to try for it. What they want to do, and I think they'd be very happy to do, is set up a situation where either they win a team fight beforehand, or they trade Mountain Drake for Baron. And they would be very happy to do that. They get Soul Point, they get a massive bonus from that, and then they can take a good team fight against T1 where they're just so favored. Playing around these objectives right now and pushing in these lanes like they're doing, playing that kind of 1-3-1 style, is exactly what Dragon X want to do.
I think if they go for the Baron, it's not actually take the Baron, it's to try and bait T1 into taking the fight. Because as I said before, Dragon X are extremely powerful at this point in the game. They have this Aphelios on the massive power play. Their mid is also performing out of his mind right now. They can absolutely win a fight if they take it, and if they can bait T1 into it without losing too much on forcing the Baron itself, they could go spiral this game out of control with pace.
They absolutely could. And talking about that pace, Pyosik has been really important in setting said pace. Been constantly around at pretty much all of these fights, 100% kill participation. Much like Deft, as you can see, Deft, in comparison to Teddy here, massive damage percentage. I mean, I think most of that is honestly off of the last fight where he just blew up everyone.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. 1.5k call difference between the players right now, but that is a very significant chunk. That is a BF sword in difference, and that is a massive damage output differential, and obviously it shows in the percentage difference. Interesting to see how much damage that actually ends up being numerically, though, as while it might be that Teddy is doing a fair amount of work, it might just be that his team is doing the fair amount as well, because already on a Shockwave, backed up by an Ornhorn, will absolutely shred a team as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Happy to just get control of Baron Vision back for now. Mountain Drake is up in a minute. So, as you say, I imagine at this point in time, if Dragon aren't going to look to force the fight, they might just look to trade objectives, and I would favour that Mountain Soul over just having the Baron, because that Mountain will last for the rest of the game, and I don't know that T1 get too much off this first Baron.
No, I don't think they do either. They've still got 2 tier 1 turrets, which they need to crack open. There's a lot that needs to be done by T1 to really win out here, and it's going to require multiple Barons, and honestly, denying Dragon X's soul is going to be the most important thing. As actually, Dragon X can go either way. They take the Baron, they're very happy to just push on in. They can trade Baron for this Mountain Drake. They can take it any single way they want. They just have so many options.
The best part is they do have actually vision on both objectives right now, so they could just go, okay, we'll let T1 take priority of the map. We don't need to hold the engage. We just need to go wherever they're not. We can trade objectives, and we are almost certainly trading up in either situation. We see the dredge line.
No, we do, and a lot of utility there busted onto Cuz, but luckily for him, that Subjugate makes him so darn tanky and difficult to put down. We see a bit of damage traded back and forth, but it won't actually lead to anything. As we said, T1 able to get at that because Yuumi and Subjugate makes Cuz an unkillable force right now.
Yeah, it looks like Dragon X have maintained control of the river for now.
But we are looking for a bit more of a fight. Doran looking to try and get that engage here, stepping forward where he can as we continue to see that Deft is looking for a way to get some of this damage down. They're just going to turn onto the Dragon. They can burst through it, and T1 know that they just have to go through something here. The Shockwave whiffs, and that is absolutely massive. We see the bullet time coming on through, but that does nothing from Teddy there, and as a result, they're just going to have to back on off whiffed ultimates, lead to Dragon X just muscling on into that Dragon, and now in such a fantastic position.
Yeah, we were saying before, Dragon X are absolutely the more powerful unit in team fights. They need to hit these Shockwave, Make It Rain combos, just try and chunk through the front back lines of Dragon X before they have a chance to really pump out that massive damage that they have right now. And unfortunately, when the Shockwave misses, they just have no way of engaging into the fights, especially when they've already burned the Call of the Forge God. So we see, again, the fights begins. Dragon X just looking to zone out, looking to hard engage. Shockwave has missed. Call of the Forge God is down. Bullet time comes through. Does a decent amount of Death's health bar, but he's safe in the pit. There's no way that T1 can collapse onto him. So from there, they just force a full disengage.
Yeah, I mean, if they had that Call of the Forge God a little bit better, better positioned, and later, they could have maybe set up for something as a re-engage, but T1, at least having the knowledge and the understanding that they couldn't really take that fight anymore.
Yeah, so they will step away, they lose no members, but they do unfortunately concede the soul. Now look at how to play back into this game. They are 5k down at this point, and that is going to increase rapidly. I feel like they just need to play for a Baron steal here. That is probably the best way into the game, because they are going to lose in a straight front-to-back team fight. I feel like that's all they're going to get out of Dragon X, because they have no real way of pressuring the back line. Their tanks are an Ornn and a Trundle, who are not necessarily known for being those backline diving champions. As well, you have the Yuumi on the support, and that's definitely not something that would enable a dive play. So if you're fighting for it to back, you are losing that. So you just need to find some better way of taking fights, and unfortunately, you might just lose your jungle first.
Yeah, Cuz obviously using that Subjugate, getting very darn tanky. But they're continuing to put damage onto Doran. It's to no avail. Very little amount of damage coming on there as Cuz will be locked on up. But still, no one managing to actually take him anywhere remotely close to going down. Chovy does get a good gold card, but they're not quite able to land up any follow-up onto Faker. They do get Force out, Canna's Flash, but there is the damage from the Aphelios. Deals so much, chunks out Faker, and will finally finish him off. We do see Canna fall, and this could just be it right now, as Dragon X take this tower, maybe push a little bit more, but could also just go to Baron. They have so many options open to them. They're going to take this inhibitor, and then the world is their oyster.
I think the play here is inhibitor. into Baron.
Mhm.
No, they're not stepping back. They might like to win. There's still like 25 seconds on the respawn timers. They could very well just take Nexus turrets and win the game.
They absolutely could, especially when you see flash forward from Doran, knocks up two of the remaining members, finishes them on off, and T1 lose out in their first game of the split here, and a very high tempo comp from DragonX nets them a fantastic start to the season.
It's that niddly play backed up then by the Twisted Fate that in the early game. Because again, once you start funneling gold to this Aphelios, he has massive damage spikes in the game. If you are sort of forcing these front-to-back team fights like they were over objectives consistently, if you have that Aphelios and a strong front line that was held by the Aatrox, like it doesn't matter if the Aatrox is having a mediocre game, he just needs to be able to hold long enough so that the Aphelios can just sit in the back line, just throw out those pokes, throw out those turrets, keep the entire side of T1 just back, and from there, just pump out as much damage as you want, cycle through his weapons, find the Infernal, just shut out the entire team fight. Worked consistently for them, well played by DragonX.
Indeed, thank you all very much for watching. We're going to go to a short break, and then we'll be right back.